Hello, I am live apparently, and I'm trying a different stream. I am doing it through YouTube instead of doing it through Google Hangout. Anyway, I want to talk about something that's actually really present for me right now is the fact that I'm struggling to be perfect all the time. Just this in itself, I've been struggling to be perfect because I've been traveling and I want to do YouTube lives, but then I have all of these different thoughts that go through my head, on my banners is that I should be going live at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's not 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then I'm thinking about the perfect time and then changing the banners and it's just doing all of these crazy things. In actuality, I don't think you guys care. I don't think you guys care if I go at a certain time or if my banner is perfect or not. All you probably care about is what I'm saying to you actually worth the watch? And that's the most important thing. And this is something that most entrepreneurs struggle with is perfectionism. Coming up with everything has to be perfect. You have to have the perfect plan. Your marketing strategy has to be perfect. But what truly matters the most is your message and how you connect with people. And it doesn't matter how perfect your marketing campaign is, how perfect your strategy is, how perfect your email campaigns are. It just doesn't matter. And this is something that I tell all my clients that I work with. And it's also something I'm telling myself today. This is something that I've been kind of sitting on for a while now because I also have a retreat that I'm doing that I would love to do in Costa Rica. And I've been sitting on it for a while. It's like, I need to have the perfect email. I need to do this. I need to make sure I have beautiful pictures. No. Why am I doing this? And my phone just turned on. Why am I doing this? And why is this important for all of you to join me on the journey? That's what I need to focus on. And that's what we all need to focus on. Anyway, speaking of focus, I am going to say hello to you guys. Hello, QW. Nice to see you. And Tanvir Singh, always hello. Nice to see you guys. Let me know what time it is there where you are at right now. See? There you go. It doesn't matter. What time I show up. You guys, if you see me live, you'll come and hang out and ask me any questions. If you guys have, I feel a little bit thrown off today. To be honest with you, I haven't been feeling well for the last little while, but all is well. And that's the thing, there are very rare situation that everything is going to line up perfectly for you to do something. So might as well, if you feel the inspiration, you do it. Otherwise, the inspiration will slowly deplete. And it's another thing too, is how much are you trusting yourself when you're constantly second guessing every single little thing, right? Oh, hello, Liz. Nice to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. It's 5:27 there right now. I think you're in England, I believe. How many children do I have? None. I have 0 children. If you guys have any other questions, let me know. I mean, no questions are out of... I can't think right now. I really can't. And this is great because I did not think about what I was going to say before coming on. And I think sometimes that's the best way to be. If you have everything perfectly done well and you have everything perfectly planned, sometimes the execution is a little bit off, right? So that's good. All right. I miss watching you live. Yes, I'm in England. Awesome. Liz J. Well, thank you so much. Welcome back. Okay, so Tanvir Singh is asking me how not to lose your originality when you're always following tips from other people in your industry that you admire. How about you take away the desire to be original? How about that? Right? How about not worry about that at all? And because this goes back to perfectionism, the only way you're going to find your own authentic voice and what really matters to you and what your truth is if you actually start going out there and doing things and taking inspired action like I was talking about. If you sit at home and you wonder to yourself, like, how can I be original and still be inspired by people in the industry and still be original? There's a lot of how. right? Like there's a lot of how do I do this? How do I strategize all of this? Is which is actually holding you back from truly creating something that's original, because creating something original means that you have to do something with your hands, create something out there. So do that. Okay. All right. Does that make sense? A Tanvir? I think it's a very that's what I would call a very heady question. It's like, how do I be original? How about you don't worry about being original and just go out there and do something amazing? And maybe take a step back and ask yourself the question. It's like, why do I need to feel that I need to be original? That's another thing too. That's a deeper question to ask. Well, why do I need to be original? Maybe that taps into something else, right? Ask yourself the question, why? All right. QW says, is your battery charged? Yes. Yes. I'm just very curious about your questions because it's interesting. So it goes coming out of left field. Was your battery charged? Yes, it is. Okay. So Liz J says, how do you handle laziness and worry? I don't. I don't. I don't actually handle it in a sense. I think human beings are not lazy by nature. I think the only time that we feel lazy or we feel like, well, there's two parts to the question. So there's laziness and worry. They're two separate parts. So let's talk about the laziness part first. I truly believe that human beings are not lazy by design. We're not. We're meant to move. We're meant to do things. We're meant to live the way we want to. We want to create things. We want to feel inspired. We want to just do things. I think the laziness comes in when we feel like we're doing something that we don't want to do. I think a lot of people feel laziness around their work, for example, because I would say that 80% of the people that I come across, probably even more, maybe like closer to 90% of the people I come across are doing jobs that they hate, they don't want to do, or they're in relationships that they don't want to be a part of, or they're hanging around people that they don't want to be a part of, but for some reason people feel obligated to be in those situations, either if you're working or I'm spitting all over the place. A job that you hate. So no wonder you feel lazy. No wonder you feel like you're checked out. No wonder you feel like you would rather be somewhere else. At any time, this is a good self-awareness exercise for all of you. At any point, whatever you're doing, maybe it's your job, maybe it's a relationship you're in, or maybe it's an activity that you do, three of them. If you feel like you want to be somewhere else, that's a very good indicator that you probably are not meant to do that particular thing. When you are really in it and you really love what you do, you don't choose to be somewhere else. Like right now, I'm doing this YouTube live. I'm not thinking in my head, I would rather be somewhere else right now. If I thought that, I wouldn't be doing this. So that's a very important thing for everybody to kind of keep in mind. And sure, a lot of people might be thinking, I just can't walk away from things. That's also a limitation. You probably can. However, I do understand you don't want to put yourself in a situation that you're desperate for money. So if that is the case, you would rather be somewhere else and be at your job. Maybe come out with some kind of transition plan that would help you get to a life that you're not constantly feeling like you need to be somewhere else. So that's one part. The worry part. Worry part is always thinking about something bad is going to happen when it hasn't happened yet. One of the things to do about the worrying, constant inner critic or the inner voice that's constantly nagging at you is through meditation. I think there's a lot of thoughts that come in our heads constantly, and it comes up because it needs to come up. And if you don't allow space for it to actually come up, it comes up while you're doing other things. So you're constantly worried about your kids, or you're worried about, you might be worried about the weather, you might be worried about other people's kids, you might be worried about all of these different things. If you just kind of sat for, I would love it if you can sit for an hour a day, but if you can't, that's okay. If you give yourself like 20 minutes to just sit in silence, set your alarm, Sit in silence and just allow whatever to come up and give it space and realize that, these are just thoughts that are just coming through my head and it's 100% okay for me to think like that, then I don't think it's going to be appearing so much in other circumstances. So that's my suggestion. So that's one thing for the laziness and the other one for the worry part. Okay, so question here. I asked this, so Tanvir Singh is like, I asked this originality question because sometimes when you want to do something, you see a video from the people you admire and sometimes it's against what you, so don't watch the video. It's quite simple. If you, the people you admire and sometimes it's against what you want to do, then don't do it. Simple. Who cares if they have gained success in the industry you want to gain success in? It doesn't matter. Every single person is human, and everybody is going to say certain things that may not resonate with you. And if it's against what you believe in, then don't do it. I don't care who it is. There are a lot of people that I admire in the personal development industry, but I don't take every single advice that they give me. So don't worry about it. Okay. Wow. Well, I just thought, there you go. How should one be confident in a situation? Being confident in any situation confidence is a big topic that comes up all the time. The way to be, there are a couple of aspects of confidence. The first aspect of it is the conversations that you have in your own head. Be mindful of the things that you say to yourself. If you say to yourself, well, what I'm about to do right now is not original. There are people out there who are way better than me. I'm crap. When you speak to yourself that way, your actions actually follow that way. So maybe you want to replace it by saying, I'm always growing. I'm always learning. I'm always expanding. I'm going to try different things, and certain things will definitely work and it'll be amazing, and other things won't work. And that's okay because I'm learning. So when you start speaking to yourself that way, you start to build a little bit more confidence in what you do, as opposed to comparing yourself to people you admire in your industry and thinking that you're shit. So that's one part of it, like the way you speak to yourself. And the second part of confidence is really building evidence for yourself. And the way evidence is built, it's two parts. One part is looking at things that you have done to prove to yourself that, I can do hard things, I can do original things, I can do creative things, whatever the case might be. And the second part of it is actually going out there and doing it and making yourself a list of things that make you feel very confident. So that's my answer for you. All right, guys, I'm going to get going. I don't know why. I feel out of breath today, but I'm happy that I did show up at the time that I did. And I want to thank all of you guys for joining me today. And remember, if there's something that you're feeling inspired to do, just go out there and do it. It may not be the perfect execution. It may not be perfectly planned. It may not be perfectly to script. But I also don't think that the world is made up of like perfection. I think it's made up like fun things and spontaneous things, and things might go wrong and everything, but it's also so right at the same time. So I don't know what I'm talking about here, but it feels right to me. So that's where I'm going to stick with it. I'm not going to try to come up with a perfect ending. So have an amazing day, guys, and I will see you soon.